On the faraway planet of Viraxis, the sky was painted in soft shades of green and gold. Towering crystal trees reflected the sunlight like thousands of tiny mirrors, casting patterns of light across the land. The air shimmered with a faint, musical hum, the natural rhythm of the planet's atmosphere. Yet, despite the beauty surrounding her, Talia felt a quiet emptiness inside her heart. Talia was a Liari, a species known for their grace, intelligence, and unique life cycle. Liari could give life to children in a way that was deeply connected to their physical and emotional bonds. But Talia had always been different. No matter how much she wished or hoped, her body had never responded the way it should. She had long ago accepted what everyone else whispered but never said aloud. She would never become a mother. Walking among the crystal groves, Talia watched the younger Liari children chase one another, their laughter ringing like bells. She smiled softly, a hint of longing in her eyes. But her joy was tempered with sadness. For years, she had immersed herself in knowledge and art, painting, studying the ancient texts, and exploring the mysteries of Viraxis. Yet there was a hole that nothing could fill. She thought she had accepted her fate, but the feeling of loneliness was persistent, like a shadow she could never shake. Her solitude was broken one morning by a strange sight. On the horizon, tiny silver shapes glimmered against the sunlight. They moved like no ship or animal she had ever seen. As they drew closer, she realized they were spaceships. Humans had arrived. They were a young species, yet they carried with them energy, curiosity, and ideas unlike any Liari had encountered before. The human ships landed near the Crystal Lake, a central gathering place for the Liari. Talia watched cautiously as the humans emerged. They walked upright, covered in soft, flexible clothing, with eyes full of curiosity and minds that seemed always hungry for answers. One human, taller than the rest, stepped forward. He carried himself with confidence, but his smile was gentle. Talia felt a strange pull of hope, a whisper that perhaps these beings could change the course of her life. Over the next few days, the humans explored Viraxis. They marveled at the crystal forests, took notes of the unique flora, and recorded the songs of the wind through the trees. They asked questions, sometimes strange, sometimes naive, about the Liari and their way of life. Most Liari observed them from a distance, curious, but cautious. Talia, however, could not resist the pull of something greater. She approached the humans at the edge of the Crystal Lake one afternoon. The tall human greeted her with a nod. "I'm Dr. Elias Rowan," he said, his voice calm and soothing. "We are here to learn about your world and perhaps to share a little of ours." Talia hesitated. It was unusual for a Liari to speak directly with humans, yet something in his presence felt comforting, as though he understood her unspoken pain. "I am Talia," she replied softly. "Welcome to Viraxis." Dr. Rowan's eyes lit up with curiosity. "Thank you, Talia. Your planet, it's unlike anything I've ever seen. It's alive, in every sense." Over the next few days, Talia spent time with Dr. Rowan and his team. They asked her questions about Liari life, about the ways her species created new life, about the traditions and emotions that shaped her world. Talia shared what she could, but she held back the deepest truth. She had never experienced motherhood. One evening, as the twin suns of Viraxis set behind the Crystal Mountains, Talia and Dr. Rowan walked along the lake's edge. The water reflected the fading light, creating a golden path that seemed to stretch into eternity. Talia felt a quiet courage rising in her chest. "I have a question," she said, almost whispering. "Humans, you can help life begin in ways that seem impossible. Could there be a way to do that for someone like me?" Dr. Rowan paused, his gaze softened. "Talia, humans do not see limits the same way others might. We look for possibilities where others see impossibilities. Tell me what you feel is impossible for you. She took a deep breath. I cannot have children. My body does not respond like other Liari. I have tried everything the council suggested. I have accepted that I may never experience motherhood. But my heart, it still longs to create life. Dr. Rowan nodded slowly, absorbing her words. Then, maybe we can try together. Perhaps your hope is not in vain. Sometimes, life finds a way when minds come together. A spark of something she had not felt in years flickered within Talia. Hope. Could it be that this human, with his knowledge and understanding, could help her achieve what she had thought impossible? The thought filled her with both fear and excitement. The next weeks were a whirlwind. Talia and Dr. Rowan studied the Liari biology, discussing and testing gentle techniques, combining human methods with Liari understanding of life. Every day brought new discoveries, small successes, and lessons learned. Talia's connection with Dr. Rowan grew not romantic, but deep, respectful, and filled with trust. He believed in her when she had long stopped believing in herself. The other Liari watched cautiously. Some whispered that humans meddling with life was dangerous. Others felt a glimmer of hope, wondering if their understanding of life could expand. Talia knew the road ahead would be difficult. Her body and her mind had to adjust to processes never tried before. There would be setbacks, and yet, each day felt like a step toward a dream she had almost given up on. One morning, as Talia prepared for another session, she paused to look at the rising suns. She thought of the children she had watched play in the crystal forests, and of the life that had always seemed out of reach. A soft wind brushed her face, and for the first time, she felt a real possibility that she could be more than what she had believed. She could create, nurture, and bring life into the universe. Dr. Rowan approached with a gentle smile. "Are you ready?" he asked. Talia nodded, her heart racing. Yes. In that moment, under the shimmering skies of Viraxis, Talia felt the faintest tremor of hope blossom into a promise. For the first time in her life, she imagined herself as a mother, not in theory, not in dreams, but as a real, possible future. The humans had brought curiosity and knowledge. She brought courage and determination. Together, they might just make the impossible possible. As the suns rose higher, painting the crystal trees in gold and green, Talia and Dr. Rowan began a new chapter. A chapter that could change not only her life, but the understanding of life itself on Viraxis. She no longer felt the shadow of loneliness. Instead, she felt a quiet excitement, the kind that comes when the first step toward a dream is finally taken. And so, in the heart of an alien world, where crystal trees shimmered and the wind sang through the air, a human and a Liari stood side by side, ready to challenge the impossible. The morning sun rose over Viraxis like a soft golden lantern, filling the crystal forests with dancing light. Talia stood at the edge of the lake, her hands lightly touching the water's surface. The ripples reflected her anxious expression, though her heart carried a small, bright ember of hope. Yesterday's conversation with Dr. Elias Rowan had opened a door she never thought could exist, and now, standing in the calm of the morning, she was ready to step through it. Dr. Rowan arrived quietly, his human steps gentle against the smooth crystal ground. "Good morning, Talia," he said with a warm smile. "Are you ready for today's session?" Talia nodded. "I am. I want to understand. I want to try." The human team had set up a small laboratory near the lake, using transparent domes that allowed sunlight to flood the area, while protecting the equipment from the natural vibrations of Viraxis. Tubes of glowing liquids, screens displaying moving patterns, and small mechanical instruments were all arranged neatly. The Liari scientists who had been curious but skeptical hovered nearby, observing the strange human methods with careful attention. Dr. Rowan motioned for Talia to sit. "Today," he said, "we will start with understanding your natural cycles in detail. Liari life is different from human life, but if we can map your patterns, we can find a way to support them. Think of it as giving life a gentle push, not forcing it." Talia took a deep breath. The words were comforting. She had spent so long believing in impossibility, and now she felt someone trusted her potential. "I understand," she whispered. For the next few hours, Talia allowed Dr. Rowan to observe, measure, and record the rhythms of her body. Nothing was painful or intrusive. Everything was done with care and respect. She marveled at how different humans approached problems. They did not rush. They asked questions, experimented gently, and celebrated even the smallest observations. At one point, a young human assistant asked her, "Talia, have you ever felt this way before?" He pointed to a screen displaying the soft pulses of her life energy. Talia shook her head. "No, I have always felt the rhythms, but never like this. It is calm and encouraging." Dr. Rowan smiled. "Humans often see things differently. We do not assume limits. We ask, test, and try again. Sometimes, a solution appears in the most unexpected way." By the end of the day, they had gathered a detailed understanding of Talia's cycles. Dr. Rowan reviewed the data with her, pointing out patterns she had never noticed herself. "Look here," he said. "Your energy spikes in ways that suggest the body is ready for life creation, but it lacks the right environmental support. We can provide that." Talia leaned closer to the screen. "Environmental support?" "Yes," Dr. Rowan replied. "We can simulate conditions that help your body recognize and nurture life. It will take patience and cooperation, but I believe it can work." For the next several days, Talia and the humans worked together, creating gentle simulations of the conditions her species needed for life to begin. They mixed techniques from Liari science with human technology, forming glowing chambers filled with softly pulsing light, subtle vibrations, and warm, flowing energy. Every adjustment was done with care, every measurement double-checked. The first few attempts did not work. Talia felt disappointment wash over her each time, but Dr. Rowan never gave up. "Failure is just information," he would say. "It tells us what needs to change." Talia admired the human approach. Where Liari often became frustrated by obstacles, humans seemed to treat them as puzzles, meant to be solved. Slowly, she began to see her own efforts in a new light. She was no longer helpless. She was learning, experimenting, and contributing to a process that might finally bring life to her world. One afternoon, as the twin suns dipped low, casting long shadows across the crystal ground, Talia felt something shift inside her. A subtle warmth spread through her chest, unlike anything she had ever experienced. She stopped her movements, startled. "Is something happening?" Dr. Rowan asked, noticing her pause. Talia's voice was soft but filled with awe. "I feel energy. Something is moving inside me." Dr. Rowan's eyes widened. "That's a sign. Your body is reacting to the conditions we've created. This is the first step." The Liari scientists observing from the edge of the laboratory exchanged quiet murmurs. Some of them had doubted humans' ability to help. Now, they watched in astonishment, as Talia, a Liari who had given up hope, showed signs of life awakening within her. Over the next several days, the team adjusted the simulations, each improvement making Talia more comfortable and supported. She began to feel a rhythm that seemed to flow naturally, her body cooperating in ways she had never imagined. She laughed softly to herself one evening, a sound of pure joy. "I cannot believe this is happening," she said. You made it happen, Dr. Rowan replied. I guided, but you opened the door. Humans can provide tools, but courage is yours. As the weeks passed, Talia's confidence grew. She no longer feared failure. She had begun to see herself as capable of creating life, of overcoming what she once believed impossible. And the humans, patient and kind, celebrated every small success with her. One night, under a sky filled with stars that sparkled like fragments of crystal, Talia spoke to Dr. Rowan quietly. I used to think motherhood was something I could never have. Now, I feel it might be possible, but it is so different from what my people expect. Dr. Rowan nodded. Change is always different. It can feel strange, even scary. But sometimes, it is the only way to discover something wonderful. You are showing your people a new way, Talia. The Liari around her began to notice the changes too. Children and young adults approached her with curiosity, asking questions about her experiences. Elders, who had once whispered doubts about her abilities, now regarded her with cautious admiration. Talia realized that her journey was no longer hers alone. It was becoming a story for her people, a story of hope, courage, and the power of trying beyond limits. One day, while examining a simulation chamber, Talia felt a stronger shift inside her. The energy she had sensed before now pulsed with more intensity, spreading warmth and light throughout her body. She gasped, a smile breaking across her face. Dr. Rowan, standing nearby, noticed her reaction. This is it, he said softly. The body is recognizing life. You are closer than ever. Talia's heart raced. She had imagined this moment countless times in her mind, but reality was far more magnificent than she could have dreamed. The humans' presence, their guidance, and her own courage had combined to create something new, a possibility that had been thought impossible. Over the next days, Talia continued to adjust to the new rhythms of her body. She learned to trust the simulations, the measurements, and the human guidance. She found joy in the smallest signs, a warmth that lingered, a pulse that seemed to synchronize with her own life energy. A subtle shift in her strength and endurance. The humans celebrated with her every step. They did not treat the process as routine or ordinary. Every tiny change was recognized as a triumph of curiosity, effort, and persistence. Talia felt a deep connection to them, not only as a teacher of Liari ways but as a partner in something extraordinary. One evening, as the twin suns set and the crystal trees glowed with the soft light of dusk, Talia sat by the lake, reflecting on the weeks that had passed. The loneliness she had felt for so long was replaced with anticipation. She no longer believed she was helpless. She no longer believed the impossible was permanent. Life, she realized, had ways of surprising those who dared to hope. Dr. Rowan approached quietly. Talia, he said gently, you have done something remarkable. You have opened the door to life where none thought it could exist. The next steps will be delicate, but I have every confidence in you. Talia looked at him, a mixture of gratitude and awe in her eyes. Thank you, Elias. I never believed I could experience this. But now, it feels real. I feel alive in a way I never have before. The human nodded. And that, Talia, is the beginning. The first step is often the hardest, but you have taken it. Now, we continue. Together, we will see where this journey leads. As night fell over Viraxis, the stars reflected in the lake's surface like countless tiny beacons of possibility. Talia stood and lifted her face to the sky. Somewhere in the rhythm of the stars, in the harmony of life on her world, she felt the faintest pulse of something extraordinary. A future that had seemed impossible was beginning to take shape. She had taken the first steps. And in doing so, she had begun to transform not only her own life, but the understanding of life itself on Viraxis. The light of Viraxis's twin suns bathed the crystal forests in soft gold and green, but Talia's heart was not as calm as the landscape around her. Though the first signs of life within her had filled her with hope, there were new sensations she could not yet understand. Her body pulsed with unfamiliar energy, sometimes gentle, sometimes insistent, like a river she had never learned to navigate. Dr. Rowan arrived early, carrying a small, glowing device used to monitor her energy patterns. "Good morning, Talia," he said gently. "How are you feeling?" Talia shifted slightly, her eyes reflecting a mixture of awe and concern. "Strange," she admitted. "There are times when the energy is soft, like before, and then it grows stronger. I do not know what to do." "That is normal," Dr. Rowan replied calmly. "Your body is learning to respond to life in a way it never has before. We must respect the rhythms and guide them carefully. We are not rushing. We are supporting." The day began with careful observation. Talia lay in the softly pulsing chamber they had created, surrounded by the hum of Lyari instruments and the gentle glow of human devices. Dr. Rowan adjusted the light intensity and vibration levels, carefully noting every change in Talia's energy. The young Lyari assistants watched in silent fascination, taking mental notes of this unprecedented collaboration between species. At first, everything seemed to go well. Talia's body responded positively to the gentle guidance, and she felt a warmth that spread like sunlight through her chest. Yet, as the hours passed, subtle complications appeared. Tiny disruptions in the energy patterns caused small, momentary discomforts. Talia's breathing became shallow at times, and the rhythmic pulses of her body faltered. She gasped softly. I do not know why this is happening," she whispered, panic rising. Dr. Rowan's voice was calm and steady. "Talia, it is okay. Your body is learning. Sometimes progress comes with small setbacks. We will adjust. Trust yourself, and trust the process." But Talia could not ignore the doubts creeping into her mind. What if she could not do this? What if all her hope had been foolish? The human's gentle guidance could only go so far. The courage had to come from within her. That night, Talia walked among the crystal groves alone. The wind carried soft whispers through the trees, a reminder of the harmony that surrounded her world. She closed her eyes and focused on the energy within her. The warmth was still there, but it felt unpredictable, like a song missing a few notes. "I must learn," she said to herself. "I must understand this rhythm, or it will never happen." The following days became a series of careful adjustments. Talia and Dr. Rowan refined the simulations, learning from every small disruption. Some attempts failed entirely, causing the Lyari assistants to murmur in concern. But Dr. Rowan reminded them, every failure is information. It is a step toward understanding. We must remain patient. One afternoon, a breakthrough came unexpectedly. Talia was lying in the chamber when she felt the energy inside her settle into a smooth, harmonious rhythm. The pulse was steady, warm, and responsive. She opened her eyes in astonishment. It is working," she whispered. Dr. Rowan checked the monitors and smiled. "Yes, Talia, your body is beginning to synchronize with the life energy. This is a true turning point. You are learning to cooperate with the life within you." For the first time, Talia felt a sense of control. She could sense the rhythms, respond to them, and guide them gently. The fear that had haunted her for years began to fade, replaced by an unfamiliar confidence. But the challenge was not over. As the Lyari elders watched cautiously from a distance, Talia experienced the first real test. A sudden shift in her energy caused discomfort and uncertainty. She gasped and struggled to maintain her focus. Dr. Rowan moved to her side. "Breathe, Talia. Let the energy flow naturally. Do not fight it. You are strong enough to adapt." Talia followed his guidance, closing her eyes and focusing on the harmony she had felt during her breakthrough. Slowly, the discomfort faded, She felt the rhythm return, stronger and more stable than before. The Lyari assistants exchanged surprised glances. Many of them had never seen a Lyari adapt so quickly to such changes. Talia's body and spirit were responding in ways that suggested not just possibility, but a new kind of resilience. That evening, as Talia rested beside the lake, Dr. Rowan approached her. "You have done something remarkable today," he said quietly. "You faced uncertainty and discomfort, and you adapted. That is the strength of life. That is the strength of you." Talia smiled, though she was still tired. I feel different," she admitted. "Not just physically, but emotionally. I feel connected to something I cannot fully describe, something greater than myself." "You are connected to life itself," Dr. Rowan replied, "and that connection is growing. With each step, you are learning not just to accept life, but to nurture it." In the days that followed, Talia continued to master the rhythms of her body. She learned to anticipate shifts, to respond with calm focus, and to celebrate every small pulse of life energy. The humans continued to provide guidance, adjusting the simulations gently, but the real change came from within her. The Lyari around her began to notice the transformation. Young Lyari, who had once doubted her courage, now approached her for guidance. Elders who had questioned her abilities now regarded her with admiration. Talia realized that her journey was more than personal. It was becoming a symbol for her entire species. One morning, while observing the shimmering lake, Talia felt a profound sense of unity with her world. The crystal trees, the soft winds, the energy flowing through her body, it all felt connected. She could sense the pulse of life in the world around her, as though Viraxis itself was supporting her efforts. Dr. Rowan joined her at the water's edge. "Do you feel it?" he asked gently. Talia nodded. "Yes, I feel harmony. The world, my body, the energy. It is all connected. I understand now. Life is not just about beginnings. It is about connection and balance." The human smiled. "Exactly. And you are teaching not only yourself, but everyone here, that life can flourish when nurtured with patience and understanding." As the days turned into weeks, Talia continued to strengthen the connection between herself and the life energy within her. Every morning she woke with a sense of anticipation, and every evening she reflected on the progress she had made. She was no longer the Lyari who had believed in impossibility. She was a Lyari learning to embrace the extraordinary. One afternoon, during a particularly intense session, Talia felt the energy shift in a completely new way. It was as if the pulse inside her had developed a mind of its own, moving and flowing with creativity and strength. She gasped, feeling awe and wonder fill her being. "This is incredible," she whispered to Dr. Rowan. "I have never felt anything like this." Dr. Rowan examined the readings carefully. "Talia, it appears your body is not just accepting life. It is learning to generate it with a natural harmony. You are achieving something no Lyari has done before." Talia's eyes widened. A mixture of fear and excitement washed over her. Could this be the moment she had longed for her entire life? The possibility that motherhood was finally within reach filled her with joy. As evening fell over Viraxis, painting the crystal forests with soft pink and purple light, Talia sat quietly by the lake. The energy within her pulsed gently, harmonizing with the rhythm of the world. She felt a connection deeper than she had ever imagined, a bridge between her heart, her body, and the life force surrounding her. Dr. Rowan approached, carrying a small lantern that cast a warm glow across the water. "Talia," he said softly, "you have reached a turning point. What you are experiencing now is the result of courage, patience, and trust. You are ready for the next stage, whenever you feel it is right." Talia smiled, her heart full of anticipation. That night, under the sparkling stars of Viraxis, Talia lay in the quiet of her chamber, feeling the life energy pulse steadily within her. She no longer feared uncertainty or setbacks. She had learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the willingness to continue despite it. She had learned that hope was not fragile, but strong enough to guide her through the most unknown paths. And most importantly, she had learned that she was not alone. Humans had brought knowledge and guidance, but her own determination had opened the door to a possibility she had never imagined. In that quiet night, Talia whispered a promise to herself and to the life within her. "I will nurture you. I will guide you. I will see this life grow." The twin suns would rise again in a few hours, casting their golden light over Viraxis. And with that light, Talia knew that her journey was only beginning, a journey of hope, discovery, and the extraordinary possibility of life. The twin suns of Viraxis rose slowly over the horizon, painting the crystal forests in warm gold and gentle green. Light shimmered across the lake, bouncing off the towering crystal trees, and filling the land with patterns that seemed almost alive. Talia stood at the water's edge, her fingers brushing the surface. She could feel the subtle energy inside her, pulsing in a steady, rhythmic flow. It had been weeks since Dr. Rowan and the human team had arrived. Weeks of experimentation, observation, and gentle guidance. Each day had been a step forward, each setback a lesson. Talia had learned patience, strength, and the quiet power of hope. She had discovered that her body, once thought incapable, could respond to the rhythms of life with a harmony she had never imagined. "Good morning, Talia," Dr. Rowan called softly, approaching with a tablet in his hands. "Are you ready for today?" Talia nodded. "Yes, I feel ready." Today was different. The energy within her had grown stronger, more responsive, and more harmonious. She could sense its direction, its flow, and its subtle needs. Where before she had only reacted, now she could guide. She was no longer passive, she was active, shaping and nurturing the life inside her. The simulation chamber had been adjusted to mimic the most ideal conditions for the next stage of the process. Soft light, gentle vibrations, and the faint hum of energy surrounded her. The humans had combined their knowledge with Liari techniques to create an environment that encouraged life to flourish naturally. Talia stepped inside the chamber, closing her eyes and focusing on the pulse within her. It was like a tiny flame, fragile but full of potential. She felt its rhythm, matched her breath to it, and allowed herself to sink into the flow. Dr. Rowan monitored her gently, making minor adjustments as needed. Hours passed. The energy fluctuated, sometimes growing stronger, sometimes softer. But Talia remained calm. She had learned to trust herself, her body, and the guidance around her. She felt a deep connection not just to the life inside her, but to the entire world of Viraxis. The trees, the lake, the wind, the crystal formations, they all seemed to respond. Subtle shifts in light and sound that made her feel as if the planet itself was supporting her. And then, it happened. A pulse, unlike any she had felt before, moved through her body. It was strong, vibrant, and alive. Talia gasped, feeling the energy expand within her, filling every part of her being. She could sense the tiny beginnings of life taking shape, a delicate presence that relied on her care and attention. Dr. Rowan's voice was calm but filled with quiet excitement. "Talia, this is it. The life energy is fully responding. You are nurturing it successfully." Talia's eyes filled with tears, not of sadness, but of overwhelming joy. She had believed for so long that motherhood was impossible. Now, for the first time, she felt the reality of it, something alive, growing within her, a new future taking shape. The Lyri assistants who had been observing from the edge of the chamber were silent, their eyes wide with wonder. Some had doubted her ability to succeed. Others had never imagined a Lyri could experience such a response to life in this way. Now, they watched as Talia became more than herself. She became a symbol of courage, hope, and the power of determination. As the days went by, Talia continued to nurture the life within her. Each morning brought new sensations, subtle movements, gentle pulses, and waves of warmth that made her heart swell. She could feel the tiny presence responding to her thoughts, her calm, and her care. One evening, as the twin suns set behind the crystal mountains, painting the lake in shades of pink and gold, Talia sat by the water, reflecting on her journey. She thought of the days filled with doubt, the nights of fear, and the moments when she had almost given up. And now, she felt a quiet triumph. She was not just experiencing life, she was creating it. Dr. Rowan joined her, carrying a small lantern that cast a warm, gentle glow. "You have done something extraordinary, Talia," he said softly. "You have proven that courage, patience, and trust can bring life where it was once thought impossible." Talia smiled, her eyes shining. "It does not feel like just me. I feel connected to everything, to the world, to life, to this energy that grows inside me. I feel as if Viraxis itself is part of this process." "That is the beauty of life," Dr. Rowan replied. "It is not isolated. It is a web, a connection. And you are now part of that web in a way few have ever experienced." The following days were filled with careful observation and gentle nurturing. Talia learned to anticipate the subtle changes in the life energy, adjusting her focus and attention to encourage growth. She discovered that even the smallest thoughts and feelings could influence the life within her, teaching her the responsibility and care required to nurture creation. One morning, Talia felt a distinct movement, stronger than before. She gasped, placing her hands over her chest. "It is moving," she whispered. Dr. Rowan checked the monitors and nodded. "Yes, Talia. You can feel the beginnings of life's expression. It is subtle, but it is there. You are doing wonderfully." Talia closed her eyes, feeling a profound sense of connection. She could sense the tiny life responding to her breath, her heartbeat, and even her thoughts. It was delicate, fragile, and yet incredibly strong, a miracle in its own quiet way. The Lyri assistants watched silently, taking mental notes of each movement, each pulse, each moment of connection. This was a new form of life creation, one that combined human ingenuity and Lyri wisdom. The success of this process would change their understanding of what was possible, not just for Talia, but for every Lyri in the future. As the days turned into weeks, the life within Talia grew stronger. She could feel it stretching, pulsing, and responding with more complexity. She marveled at its development, at the tiny signals that told her it was thriving. Each new movement brought joy, each pulse a message of trust and growth. One evening, as she rested by the lake, Talia whispered to the tiny life within her, "I promise to care for you. I promise to guide you, to nurture you, and to help you grow. I will not give up. I will not falter. You are part of me, and I am part of you." Dr. Rowan, watching from a short distance, smiled. "You have embraced what it means to nurture life. That is the most important part. Everything else follows." The Lyri elders, who had been observing cautiously, approached Talia with quiet reverence. They had seen her determination, her courage, and her connection to life itself. Now, they bowed their heads slightly, acknowledging her success. Talia had not only achieved what was once thought impossible, she had inspired a new understanding of life for her entire species. One morning, Talia felt a surge of energy within her, a clear and unmistakable pulse that indicated the life inside her was thriving more than ever. She placed her hands over her chest and whispered, "You are growing strong. I am here with you. Always." Dr. Rowan monitored the readings and smiled broadly. "This is remarkable, Talia. The life energy is stable and responding beautifully. You are nurturing it perfectly." Talia's heart swelled with joy and pride. For the first time, she felt the true meaning of motherhood not just as a concept, but as a living, breathing connection to a new being. She had believed she was incapable, but now she understood that courage, patience, and trust could make the impossible possible. As the twin suns set, casting long shadows across the crystal forests, Talia sat quietly, feeling the warmth of the life within her. She was no longer alone. She was part of something greater, something miraculous. She was a mother in the truest sense, guiding and nurturing life with love, patience, and care. The humans celebrated her success not with loud noise, but with quiet acknowledgement of her courage and determination. They had provided knowledge and guidance, but the true power had come from Talia herself, from her willingness to hope, to persevere, and to embrace the unknown. That night, as the stars of Viraxis sparkled above, Talia whispered a promise to the life growing within her. "I will guide you, protect you, and help you flourish. You are my creation, and I will cherish you forever." In the quiet harmony of her world, surrounded by crystal forests, shimmering lakes, and the gentle hum of life itself, Talia felt the deepest sense of fulfillment she had ever known. She had crossed the threshold from longing to reality, from impossibility to triumph. She had become a mother, and in that moment, she knew that nothing, not doubt, fear, or perceived limits, could stop the power of hope, courage, and love. The dawn over Viraxis broke gently, spilling golden light across the crystal forests and shimmering lakes. Talia stood at the edge of the water, her hands resting lightly on her belly. The pulse of life inside her had grown steady and strong, a quiet rhythm that brought her joy unlike anything she had ever known. She took a deep breath and smiled. For so many years, she had believed that motherhood was impossible. Yet here she was, feeling the tiny life inside her, knowing that she had nurtured it into being. Every day of patience, every moment of hope, every spark of courage had led to this reality. Dr. Rowan approached, carrying his tablet to record the final observations of the current stage. "Wonderful," she replied, her voice full of warmth. "I feel complete, strong, connected. You should feel that way," Dr. Rowan said with a smile. "You have nurtured life where it was thought impossible. You have created something extraordinary." Over the next weeks, Talia continued to strengthen the connection with the life within her. She learned to anticipate its movements, to guide the energy with gentle thought, and to respond to its needs with calm focus. The pulse within her became a steady companion, a sign of hope and the power of persistence. The Liari, who had once doubted her abilities, began to approach her with curiosity and admiration. Children gathered around, asking questions about her experiences. The elders observed quietly, nodding in approval at the courage and determination she had shown. One afternoon, as Talia rested beside the crystal lake, she watched the young Liari play. Their laughter and joy filled the air, a reminder of the life she was nurturing. She felt a sense of connection not only to her child, but to her people, and to the world around her. Dr. Rowan sat beside her. "You are teaching more than just nurturing life, Talia. You are showing your people that hope, courage, and determination can overcome limits. Your journey is inspiring." Talia looked at him, gratitude shining in her eyes. "It is not just me. You have helped guide me. Humans think differently. They see possibilities where others see walls, and that has made all the difference." The days passed in a rhythm of careful observation and gentle nurturing. Talia felt the tiny life inside her responding to the environment, to her emotions, and even to her thoughts. She marveled at the delicate movements, the quiet pulses, and the waves of warmth that spread through her chest. Each moment was a reminder of the miracle she had helped create. One evening, as the twin suns set and painted the crystal trees in shades of pink and gold, Talia felt a sudden, stronger pulse. She gasped, placing her hands over her chest. It is growing more active, she whispered. Dr. Rowan checked the readings. Yes, Talia. The energy is stable and healthy. You are ready for the next stage. The life you have nurtured is developing beautifully. Talia's heart swelled with joy. She had never imagined that something so fragile could become so strong, that hope could transform into reality. She realized that the months of effort, patience, and trust had not only brought life to her body, but had transformed her spirit as well. The humans and Liari began to collaborate more openly, inspired by Talia's success. Together, they explored new ways to support life, combining Liari traditions with human knowledge. The process that had started as an experiment became a model for the future, showing that cooperation and curiosity could unlock possibilities once thought impossible. One morning, Talia felt the first truly distinct movement of her child. She placed her hands over her belly, tears filling her eyes. "Hello," she whispered softly. "I can feel you. You are real. You are alive." Dr. Rowan watched with quiet admiration. "You are experiencing something extraordinary, Talia. You are the first Liari to nurture life in this way, and your courage has opened a new path for your people." Talia smiled, feeling a deep bond with the tiny life growing within her. She imagined holding her child, guiding them, and teaching them about the world. For the first time, she truly understood the meaning of motherhood, not just as a biological act, but as a profound connection of love, care, and guidance. The Liari elders approached, this time without hesitation or doubt. They bowed slightly, acknowledging her achievement. "Talia," one elder said, "you have shown us that limits exist only in thought. You have brought hope to our people and opened the way for generations to come." Talia felt a wave of gratitude. "I could not have done this alone," she said softly. "It was guidance, courage, and hope that brought me here." The days became filled with preparation and reflection. Talia meditated each morning, synchronizing her energy with the rhythm of the life growing within her. She practiced gentle movements, breathing exercises, and emotional focus, learning to nurture with every aspect of her being. Dr. Rowan observed and guided her with patience. "You are ready for the final stage," he said one afternoon. "The life within you is thriving. Soon, you will experience the full miracle of creation." Talia's heart leapt at the thought. She had dreamed of motherhood for so long, and now she could feel its presence fully. She understood that it was not just about giving birth, it was about nurturing, protecting, and guiding life with patience and love. As the days went by, the tiny life inside her moved more frequently. Each pulse, each shift, each subtle signal was a reminder of the bond she shared with her child. She whispered words of encouragement and love, feeling a connection that was beyond explanation. One evening, under the glow of the twin moons, Talia sat by the lake and reflected on her journey. She thought of the years spent feeling hopeless, of the fear and doubt that had once weighed her down, and of the courage that had brought her here. She realized that motherhood was not simply a gift, it was a journey, one that required patience, determination, and unwavering hope. The humans and Liari had gathered to witness the progress, not out of curiosity, but out of respect and admiration. They had seen the impossible become possible, and they understood that Talia's courage had changed the future of Viraxis forever. Finally, The day came when Talia felt the energy within her shift into a steady, radiant pulse. The life she had nurtured was ready to fully express itself. She closed her eyes, focusing on the tiny being she had created. "I am here," she whispered. "I will guide you. I will love you. We will grow together." Dr. Rowan stood nearby, a gentle smile on his face. "You have done more than I could have imagined, Talia. You are not just a mother, you are a symbol of hope for your entire world." Talia's heart swelled with emotion. She had taken the first steps toward a dream, overcome doubt and fear, and nurtured life into being. Now, she understood the true power of hope, courage, and love. In the days that followed, Talia continued to strengthen her bond with her child. She felt every pulse, every subtle movement, and every tiny shift in energy. She guided, nurtured, and celebrated each sign of growth. The Liari people began to learn from her example. Young Liari approached her to observe, to ask questions, and to understand the process of nurturing life. Elders who had once doubted her now spoke of the lessons she had taught them about courage, determination, and the power of hope. Talia realized that her journey was more than personal. It was a legacy, a message to her people that limits could be challenged, that hope could triumph, and that life itself could be nurtured with love and patience. One night, as the stars of Viraxis sparkled above the crystal forests, Talia whispered to the life growing within her, "You are part of me, and I am part of you. Together, we will explore this world, learn from it, and grow. You are my greatest gift, and I will cherish you forever." The energy inside her pulsed in response, steady and strong. Talia smiled, tears of joy shining in her eyes. She had become a mother. She had nurtured life where it was once thought impossible, and she had inspired a new understanding of hope and courage for generations to come. As the twin suns rose once more over Viraxis, casting golden light across the crystal forests, Talia felt a deep sense of fulfillment. She had crossed from longing to reality, from impossibility to triumph. She had transformed her life, her people, and the understanding of life itself. And in that radiant morning light, she knew that nothing could stop the power of hope, courage, and love, the true forces that make life extraordinary.